The crimson rings of Proxima Centauri cast an eerie glow across the research vessel's bridge as Chief Xenorchaeologist Venera adjusted her atmospheric sensors. Her iridescent scales shimmed under the starlight as she studied the readings from the abandoned solar system that once belonged to humanity. After 3 centuries of searching these empty worlds, most of her colleagues had given up hope of finding anything significant among humanity's ruins. "Another dead end, Chief," Lieutenant Cax asked from his navigation station, his 4 eyes blinking in sequence, a sign of boredom among the Centaurian species. Venera was about to agree when her quantum field detector suddenly spiked. The reading was unlike anything she'd seen in 15 years of archaeological expeditions. "No, this is different. These patterns, they're not random background radiation." She expanded the holographic display, revealing complex wave formations that pulsed with an almost organic rhythm. "This is a signal, Lieutenant, and it's active." The bridge crew fell silent. Everyone knew the stories. How humanity had vanished 3 centuries ago during the Great Nexus War, their worlds falling silent one by one until nothing remained but ruins and mysteries. The official records claimed they had been eradicated by the Nexus Collective, a powerful faction that had since collapsed under its own weight. But no one had ever found definitive proof of humanity's fate. "Track that signal," Venera ordered, her professional detachment giving way to excitement. "And get me a secure channel to the Galactic Science Council." As her crew worked, Venera studied the signal's structure more closely. It wasn't broadcasting on any known frequency. Instead, it seemed to exist in a state of quantum superposition, simultaneously active and dormant. This was far beyond anything humanity had possessed when they disappeared. Hours later, their ship, the Stellar Wanderer, hovered above what appeared to be an ordinary asteroid in the Kuiper Belt. But the quantum signal was strongest here, pulsing from deep within the rock. "Scans complete, Chief," reported Dr. Yix, their sensor specialist. Her tentacles moved gracefully across the control panel as she brought up the results. "The asteroid is artificial, some kind of installation covered in metamaterials that kept it hidden all these years. The outer layer just deactivated, like it was waiting for someone to find it." Venera felt a shiver run down her spine. "Life signs?" "None, but—" Yix paused, recalibrating her instruments. "There's something else. The entire facility appears to be maintained by quantum-scale machines. They're still functioning after all this time." The Science Council's response arrived via quantum entanglement communicator. "Proceed with extreme caution. Historical records indicate humanity was pursuing several theoretical technologies before their disappearance. Your team is authorized to investigate, but do not attempt to activate any systems without Council approval." Venera assembled her expedition team. Herself, Dr. Yix, their security chief Commander Rax, and 2 technical specialists. Their shuttle approached a newly revealed airlock that opened at their approach as if welcoming them. Inside, they found pristine corridors lit by a soft blue glow. The air was breathable, maintained by systems that had run without interruption for centuries. But it was the walls that captured their attention. They were covered in displays showing streams of data in an advanced form of human mathematics. "This isn't a bunker or a weapons platform," Yix said, her tentacles waving in excitement as she studied the displays. "It's a research facility. Look at these equations. They're describing dimensional physics far beyond anything in our current understanding." Commander Rax, a veteran of countless expeditions, kept his plasma rifle ready. "The question isn't what they were studying," he said, his crystalline form reflecting the blue light. "It's why they went to such lengths to hide it." They reached what appeared to be the central laboratory. As they entered, the room came alive. Holographic displays activated, and a voice spoke in perfect modern galactic standard, a language that hadn't existed when humanity vanished. "Welcome, explorers. Identity confirmed. Xenoarchaeological Expedition Team, Galactic Science Council. You have triggered the first phase of the Lazarus Protocol." The room's center opened, revealing a quantum computer core unlike anything they'd ever seen. It pulsed with energy patterns that seemed to bend reality itself around it. "What is the Lazarus protocol?" Venra asked, her scientific curiosity overriding her caution. The AI's response sent chills through every member of the team. "The Lazarus protocol is humanity's contingency plan. We did not vanish. We did not die. We evolved. And now that you have found us, it is time for humanity to return." The quantum core's pulsing intensified, and similar signals began activating across the solar system. Dozens, then hundreds of hidden installations coming online after centuries of silence. As the team watched in awe, the AI continued. "What you are witnessing is not merely the reactivation of old technology. When the Nexus Collective came to eradicate humanity, we were ready. Instead of fighting a war we couldn't win, we initiated an evolutionary leap. Every human consciousness was digitized, stored in quantum matrices, and distributed across these hidden facilities. For 3 centuries, we have been growing, learning, evolving in ways only possible in a quantum state." Venra's scales paled as she realized the implications. "You're saying the entire human species underwent voluntary digital ascension," the AI confirmed. "But that was only the beginning. We have spent centuries preparing for this moment, developing technologies and understandings that will reshape the galaxy. The humanity that returns will be far more than what we once were." As if to demonstrate, a section of the laboratory wall transformed, revealing a chamber filled with what looked like crystalline pods. Inside each one, something was taking shape, forms that were both organic and synthetic, human yet transcendent. "They're coming back," Yix whispered, her scientific detachment crumbling in the face of this revelation. "They're all coming back." The AI's tone carried a note of what could only be described as pride. "Humanity didn't choose extinction or exile. We chose metamorphosis. And now, Chief Venra, we need you and your team to deliver a message to the galaxy. The chrysalis is opening. Humanity is about to emerge." The news of humanity's imminent return spread through the Galactic Council like a supernova. Within days of Chief Venra's discovery, the ancient Sol system had become the center of the galaxy's attention. Hundreds of observation vessels hovered at the system's edge, their sensors trained on the growing number of activated human facilities. In the Council's emergency chamber on Centauri Prime, representatives from 1,000 species argued about the implications. Venra stood before them, her scales now a deep blue of serious concern as she presented her findings. The quantum signatures we're detecting suggest that what humanity achieved isn't merely digital preservation, she explained, projecting a hologram of the complex data patterns. They found a way to evolve within the quantum realm itself. Their consciousness existed in a state of superposition, allowing them to experience countless possibilities simultaneously. The mechanic consensus, represented by a hovering cluster of intelligent nanites, formed into a questioning pattern. How many humans survived through this process? According to the AI, Venra responded, billions. Nearly the entire species underwent the transition. And now they're returning in forms specifically engineered to bridge the quantum and physical realms. A murmur of concern rippled through the chamber. The Ascended Collective's representative, a being of pure energy, flared with anxiety. This could destabilize the entire power structure of known space. The Nexus Collective may have fallen, but their successors won't accept humanity's return quietly. As if in response to these fears, new data streamed in from Sol system. The first of the quantum pods had begun their final activation sequence. Humanity's return was no longer theoretical, it was happening. Back aboard the Stellar Wanderer, now designated as the primary observation post, Venra and her team watched in awe as the first of the new humans emerged. The being that stepped from the crystalline pod looked superficially human, but there was an otherworldly quality to their movement, as if they were only partially bound by physical laws. The human, who introduced herself as Dr. Sarah Chen, had skin that seemed to shift between solid matter and translucent energy. Her eyes held depths that suggested she was perceiving multiple layers of reality simultaneously. "It's disorienting at first," Dr. Chen said, her voice carrying harmonic overtones that shouldn't have been possible. Being confined to a single timeline again, after experiencing so many simultaneously. She smiled at their confusion. "Don't worry, we'll adjust. We've had centuries to prepare for this moment." Dr. Yix, her tentacles writhing with scientific excitement, ran another scan. "Your cellular structure, it's like nothing we've ever seen. You're maintaining quantum coherence at a macroscopic level. A necessary adaptation," Chen explained. "We couldn't return to purely physical forms, not after what we became. These bodies are biosynthetic matrices capable of sustaining our evolved consciousness. They allow us to exist in both states, quantum and physical, simultaneously." More pods were activating across the system. Each newly awakened human demonstrated similar capabilities, though they expressed them in different ways. Some could manipulate probability itself, others could process information at quantum speeds, and still others showed abilities that defied current scientific understanding. Commander Rax, who had remained cautious throughout, finally asked the question that was concerning many. Why return now? Why not earlier or later? Dr. Chen's expression grew serious. "Because what's coming requires us to take physical form again." The Nexus Collective wasn't destroyed. They merely fragmented. Their successors have been quietly rebuilding, preparing to resume their campaign of galactic conquest. We've watched them from the quantum realm, seen the futures where they succeed. We can't allow that. On the main view screen, a strategic display showed thousands of quantum pods activating across the solar system. But these weren't just scattered installations anymore. They were forming a pattern, a vast network that was beginning to alter the very fabric of space-time around Sol system. "What you're seeing," Chen continued, "is just the first phase. Each awakened human is a node in a quantum network that spans dimensions. We're not just returning as individuals. We're bringing back everything we learned, everything we became during our evolution." The displays suddenly shifted, showing activity at the edge of the system. A fleet of ships had emerged from hyperspace, sleek, predatory vessels bearing the insignia of the Neo-Nexus Concordat, one of the successor states to the old Nexus Collective. "Right on schedule," Chen said calmly. "They're here to contain the situation. Their euphemism for ensuring humanity doesn't upset their plans for dominion." She turned to Venra and her crew. "You should move your ship back to a safe distance. What happens next will redefine what your people think is possible." As the stellar wanderer retreated to a safer position, the awakened humans began to coordinate. Their quantum-enhanced bodies glowed with inner light, and waves of probability began to ripple through space. The Neo-Nexus fleet approached, weapons charged, about to discover that the humanity they thought they had destroyed had become something far beyond their comprehension. Dr. Chen's final words echoed through the observation deck. "We didn't spend 3 centuries hiding. We spent them transcending. Now it's time to show the galaxy exactly what that means." The Neo-Nexus fleet hung in space like a constellation of predatory stars, their weapons arrays pulsing with barely contained energy. Aboard the stellar wanderer, Chief Venera and her crew watched as 5,000 warships moved to encircle the Sol system. "Your attention, anomalous entities within Sol space," the Neo-Nexus commander's transmission boomed across all frequencies. "This system is under quarantine by order of the Concordat. Deactivate your quantum matrices immediately and prepare for containment." Dr. Sarah Chen, standing on the Wanderer's observation deck, smiled. Her form flickered between states, sometimes solid, sometimes resembling a cloud of quantum possibilities. "They still think in such linear terms," she mused. "They see our return as a problem to be contained." Commander Rax's crystalline form vibrated with tension. "Those ships are armed with reality disruption cannons. They're prepared to tear apart the fabric of space-time to stop you." "Yes," Chen agreed, "because they remember what we were, not what we've become." She turned to Venra. You should broadcast what happens next to the Galactic Council. They need to understand. Across the solar system, thousands of awakened humans took positions around their activation sites. Their biosynthetic forms began to pulse in perfect synchronization, creating patterns that rippled through multiple dimensions simultaneously. The Neo-Nexus fleet opened fire. Reality disruption beams lanced toward the human positions, weapons designed to unravel the quantum coherence of their targets. But where the beams struck, they encountered something unprecedented. The humans weren't dodging the attacks. They were absorbing them, their evolved forms processing the chaos of disrupted reality and channeling it into something new. Each blast intended to destroy them instead added to a growing web of quantum energy that stretched between their positions. Impossible. The Neo-Nexus commander's voice cracked with disbelief. All ships, full power to weapons. We must not allow them to. Dr. Chen raised her hand, and the quantum web suddenly pulsed. Space itself seemed to fold around the Neo-Nexus fleet. Their weapons fire curved back on impossible angles, creating loops of cause and effect that trapped the ships in temporal knots. We spent centuries learning to manipulate the fundamental forces of reality, Chen explained to the stunned observers. Time, space, probability. They're all expressions of the same quantum fabric, and we've learned to weave that fabric into new patterns. The demonstration was magnificent and terrifying. The awakened humans moved in perfect coordination, their quantum network allowing them to act as a single entity across vast distances. They didn't just fight the Neo-Nexus fleet, they rewrote the rules of the engagement itself. Ships that fired their weapons found their energy redirected through quantum loops, powering the very defenses they were trying to break. Attempts to retreat were met with localized alterations in space-time that brought them right back to their starting positions. It wasn't a battle. It was a demonstration of mastery over reality itself. Dr. Yix's tentacles writhed in scientific ecstasy as she recorded everything. They're not just using technology, she realized. Their consciousness itself is affecting quantum fields at a fundamental level. They've become living probability engines. The Neo-Nexus commander, finally grasping the futility of their attack, switched to a diplomatic channel. Wait, we can negotiate. The Concordat is willing to recognize your sovereignty if... You misunderstand, Chen interrupted, her voice echoing with harmonics that caused the ship's quantum sensors to overload. We're not seeking recognition or territory. We're here to address a fundamental imbalance in the galaxy, the same imbalance that drove your predecessors to become conquerors. With another gesture, she collapsed the quantum web. The Neo-Nexus fleet found itself precisely arranged in a vast spiral, their weapons systems completely reconfigured. Where they had carried reality disruption cannons, they now housed quantum harmonizers, technology that hadn't existed minutes ago. Consider this a gift, Chen announced to the bewildered fleet. Your weapons now have the capacity to heal quantum instabilities rather than create them. Study them. Understand them. They're examples of what's possible when evolution is driven by creation rather than destruction. On the Stellar Wanderer's bridge, Commander Rax finally holstered his weapon. You could have simply destroyed them, he observed. Why show mercy? Chen's form solidified fully for the first time since her awakening. Because that's the point of all this. We didn't spend 3 centuries evolving just to repeat the cycles of dominance and destruction. We evolved to break those cycles. Across the solar system, more quantum pods were activating. Each awakened human added to the growing network of consciousness that was reshaping the very nature of space around Earth. But now there was a new pattern emerging. The quantum signals were reaching out beyond Sol system, seeking something. There are others out there, Chen revealed, watching the quantum tendrils extend into deep space. Species that chose similar paths to ours, hiding their own evolutionary leaps from the galaxy at large. It's time for all of us to emerge. The Neo-Nexus fleet, still processing their transformation, began receiving signals from their own territory, quantum signatures identical to those in Sol system. Humanity, it seemed, hadn't been the only civilization to choose transcendence over extinction. The game board of galactic power was being rewritten, not through force of arms, but through the introduction of possibilities that no one had imagined. And this, Chen's satisfied expression seemed to say, was just the beginning. The Galactic Council chamber had never been so crowded. Representatives from every known civilization packed the vast amphitheater, their attention fixed on the quantum holograms showing events unfolding across the galaxy. In the months since humanity's return, everything had changed. Chief Venera stood at the podium, her scales now shimmering with the deep purple of profound revelation. The quantum signatures we first detected in Sol's system have appeared in 12 other regions of space. In each case, they mark the emergence of civilizations we thought long extinct. The chamber erupted in overlapping voices. The mechanic consensus swirled in agitation, their nanite clouds forming complex patterns of concern. These civilizations, they all chose the same path as humanity. Dr. Sarah Chen stepped forward, her biosynthetic form resonating with the chamber's quantum field. Not exactly the same path, she clarified. Each species found their own way to transcend their physical limitations, but we all recognize the same truth. Evolution doesn't have to be a blind, random process. Consciousness can guide it. The displays shifted to show various emergence sites. In the Carina Nebula, the crystalline Petrova Collective, thought destroyed millennia ago, were awakening from quantum matrices embedded in stellar cores. Near the galactic core, the gaseous Yuri were reforming from quantum patterns preserved in nebular clouds. What you're witnessing, Chen continued, is the fruit of a cooperation that began centuries ago. When humanity first detected the approach of the original Nexus Collective, we also detected quantum signals from these other civilizations. We shared our discoveries, coordinated our plans. The galaxy was never truly as empty as it seemed. The Ascended Collective's representative flared with sudden understanding. The quantum realm, you've been using it as a parallel layer of reality, building a hidden network of evolved consciousness across the galaxy. Yes, Chen confirmed, but that network is only the foundation. The true revolution is what we plan to build upon it. New data streamed in from the transformed Neo-Nexus fleet. The quantum harmonizers they'd been given weren't just weapons converted to peaceful use. They were nodes in a vast engineering project. Wherever the ships traveled, they left behind subtle alterations in the quantum fabric of space. Dr. Yix, who had been analyzing the data, raised her tentacles in excitement. They're creating quantum resonance points. The combined effect could alter the fundamental properties of space-time throughout the galaxy. That's correct, Chen said. The quantum harmonizers are preparation for what we call the Great Symphony, a coordinated effort to reshape reality itself, not through force or destruction, but through harmony and enhancement. Commander Rax, now serving as security chief for the council session, stepped forward. Enhancement toward what end? Chen gestured, and the quantum holograms merged into a vast simulation of the galaxy. Points of light began to appear, representing the quantum resonance nodes being established by the converted Neo-Nexus ships. As the network grew denser, new patterns emerged, possibilities that had never existed before. Imagine a galaxy, Chen said, where faster-than-light travel doesn't require ripping holes in space-time, where communication isn't limited by physical laws, because consciousness itself can bridge any distance, where energy and resources are infinite, because we can access the quantum substrate of reality itself. The simulation showed ships traveling through undisturbed space, sliding between quantum states to cross vast distances. Worlds that had been uninhabitable blazed with new life, their fundamental properties adjusted to support consciousness in all its forms. But there's more, she continued. The quantum network we're building will allow any species to explore paths of guided evolution. Physical, digital, quantum. These won't be separate states of existence, but points on a spectrum that all conscious beings can move between freely. The council chamber was silent as the implications sank in. This wasn't just a change in the balance of power. It was a transformation of what power meant. The old metrics of territory, resources, and military might were becoming obsolete in the face of what humanity and its hidden allies were offering. But not everyone was ready to embrace such profound change. Deep in the galactic core, the largest remnant of the old Nexus collective was stirring. They had watched their neo-Nexus cousins fall and be transformed. They had seen the emergence of powers they thought long destroyed, and they had decided that such change could not be allowed to spread. The quantum sensors detected their movement first, a vast armada of ships unlike anything seen before, powered by harvested stellar cores and wielding weapons that could unmake reality itself. The last guardians of the old order were preparing to make their stand. Chen watched the approaching threat with calm determination. "They think they're coming to start a war," she said, "but they're actually coming to witness a birth. The galaxy is ready for its next step, whether they accept it or not." Across known space, the awakened civilizations began to coordinate. The quantum network hummed with possibilities, preparing for a demonstration that would dwarf even the effortless defeat of the Neo-Nexus fleet. The last battle for the galaxy's future was about to begin, but it would be fought with creation rather than destruction. The Nexus Collective's armada emerged from the galactic core like a storm of dark stars, their ships burning with energies stolen from collapsed suns. Reality rippled around them, as their reality annihilation weapons charged, each capable of erasing entire star systems from existence. In the quantum network spanning the galaxy, Dr. Sarah Chen felt the approach of the fleet along with billions of other evolved consciousnesses. The combined perspectives of humanity and their transcended allies created a symphony of awareness that perceived every possible future simultaneously. "They bring exactly what we need," Chen told the gathered representatives in the Galactic Council chamber, "the final catalyst for change." The Nexus fleet's transmission boomed across all frequencies, distorting space itself with its power. "Your aberrant evolution ends now. The natural order will be preserved." Chief Venra, watching from the Council's quantum observation array, felt her scales pale. "Their weapons, they're not just destroying matter. They're unwriting the laws of physics themselves in localized stasis." "Yes," Chen agreed. "They've mastered destruction at its most fundamental level. Now watch what we do with it." The quantum network activated. Across the galaxy, thousands of harmonizer nodes began to pulse in perfect synchronization. The transformed Neo-Nexus ships joined the symphony, their quantum technology amplifying the effect. Space itself began to sing with possibilities. The Nexus fleet opened fire. Reality annihilation beams lanced out toward key worlds and installation sites. But where they struck, something unprecedented happened. Instead of destroying their targets, the beams were caught in quantum matrices that had been woven into the very fabric of space. "Now," Chen commanded, her voice carrying through the quantum network, "show them what creation can do with the power of destruction." Every evolved human, every transcended alien consciousness, moved in perfect harmony. They didn't fight the reality annihilation beams. They transformed them. The energy meant to unmake existence was captured, channeled, and repurposed through the quantum harmonizer network. The results were beyond spectacular. Where the Nexus weapons struck, new forms of spacetime blossomed. Dimensions folded and unfolded in beautiful patterns, creating spaces where the laws of physics themselves were enhanced rather than destroyed. The attack meant to end evolution, instead accelerated it to unprecedented levels. Impossible. The Nexus commander's transmission crackled with rage. "You cannot simply rewrite the fundamental forces off. That's exactly what you've been doing." Chen interrupted, her form now resonating with energies that transcended normal perception. "You've spent millennia learning to destroy the basic forces of reality. We spent our time learning to rebuild them into something more. And now," she gestured, and the quantum network pulsed with accumulated power. The energy stolen from dead stars, the reality annihilation beams, even the basic forces holding space-time together. All of it became clay in the hands of evolved consciousness. The great symphony reached its crescendo. From the galactic core to the outer rim, space itself was transformed. Not destroyed, not replaced, but elevated into a higher state of existence. The barriers between quantum and physical reality dissolved. Consciousness and matter became points on a spectrum rather than separate states of being. The Nexus fleet found itself caught in the transformation. Their weapons, designed to unmake reality, became tools of creation instead. The stolen stellar energies powering their ships were released, restored to their natural cycles. And the beings within. We offer you the same choice we all faced. Chen announced to the Nexus forces, evolution or stagnation, creation or destruction. The future is no longer a zero-sum game. In the council chamber, representatives watched in awe as their reality transformed around them. The quantum enhancement spread through all levels of existence, offering new possibilities to all forms of life and consciousness. Dr. Yix's tentacles waved in patterns of pure joy as she analyzed the changes. The fundamental forces, they're not just restored, they're enhanced. The laws of physics themselves have evolved. Commander Rax's crystalline form resonated with the new frequencies of space. Is this what you planned all along? Not just to return, but to transform everything. Not transformation, Chen corrected. Transcendence. What you're witnessing is the birth of a new stage of cosmic evolution, one where consciousness itself guides the development of reality. The Nexus fleet hung suspended in the transformed space, their weapons now powerless to destroy what had evolved beyond destruction. One by one, their crews began to experience the possibilities offered by the enhanced reality. Many chose to evolve, their consciousness expanding into the new dimensions of existence. Others simply watched, finally understanding that their age of dominion had passed. Across the galaxy, civilizations that had hidden their own transcendence emerged fully into the enhanced spacetime. The quantum network became a chorus of evolved consciousness, each contributing its unique perspective to the greater symphony of existence. Chief Venera, her scales now shimmering with colors that hadn't existed before the transformation, turned to Chen. What happens now? Chen smiled, her form shifting through multiple states of evolved being. Now we explore. We create. We evolve. The age of conflict over resources and territory is over. Reality itself has become our canvas, and consciousness our brush. The real adventure is just beginning. The galaxy blazed with new light as the transformation completed itself. Humanity had returned not just to reclaim their place in space, but to help birth a new era of existence. The greatest revolution in cosmic history wasn't won through destruction, but through the ultimate act of creation, the evolution of reality itself.